You.
Good morning!
Good morning!
Welcome!
Oh, gross.
What?
My water bottle, my ugly water bottle's there.
The aesthetics are off.
I'll just sit like this. Sorry,
Okay.
Good morning. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. You look really hot. Look at you.
Thank you.
Sexy. Sexy mama. Anyways, today, welcome to Brian and Carrie in the morning. Today's show is how to stay up even when life gets you down. Now that's not a that's what she said joke, although it could be. But it is the 3 essential laws of staying positive, being efficient, remaining productive, even when life is throwing shitballs at you. That is today. I'm Brian and Carrie in the morning. So good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Connie. I see Chris Goldowski is here. Do I see that there are already over 20 people here?
Yay! We're back! We're
What
back!
up? What up? Victoria is here.
Sparks.
Brian Bag of Brains. Mama Draps, who said hair color.
I know! Oh,
Surprise!
Mama Draps, do you like it?
I love Christine Bessiste. Look at that. Good morning from Sassy Pants.
I saw
Good morning, Cynthia.
I saw that Christine had that everywhere. We're going to tell you the story about my hair in a second.
Yes. Good morning, Casey.
Hold on, guys. I'm coming back.
How's the back, Carrie? Oh, the back's fine. It was her
Did
rib.
you see me move it?
Yeah.
Wait till I tell you that story too.
Woohoo! Victoria's here. Tiffany's here. Monica's here. If you're out there and you haven't said good morning, please do. Good morning, Tiffany.
We're going to try and pull you guys up over here.
That's what she said. Speaking of that's what she said, this morning is all about how to stay up when life gets you down. Seriously.
It's a little bit, that's
The
what she said.
3 essential laws of remaining positive and productive and efficient even when life is throwing shit at you.
Gross.
My monitor is on. Good morning, Yoli. Mona. Brian Grasso is here.
That's awesome.
Because my phone is the monitor. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Cecily. I feel very happy to be back. Good morning, Casey. It's been too long.
3 days, which really turned into 5 days because of the weekend,
Yeah.
was just way too long to be away. And thank you,
Yes.
everybody, for saying such nice things about my hair.
Monica's having rib sympathy.
You know what, though? Don't. Because
Yes.
look at me. Look at me. I'm great.
But it's nice. There's empathy going on.
I love it.
Good morning
I
to
appreciate
Caitlin
it.
Graham, Aaron Johnson, Kristen Mahone Johnson with lots of blue hearts to match Carrie's hair. Yoli loves the hair. Woo!
So,
It's going to be a good day.
you know, there's so much we're talking, you know, everything right now. We're going to actually talk about the hair, and we're going to talk about, look,
it's
Tiffany Maxim, she's like, I saw the color of your hair in a picture that Cousin Pat posted.
Cousin Pat fucked it up for everybody.
We're gonna talk about the hair. We're gonna talk about my rib. We're gonna talk about a lot of
Yes.
things today.
Cecily, we miss you too.
So I won't go into detail about those right now.
Yes, because the details are coming
But-
forthwith.
but-
Forthwith.
I want to know, for those of you who are watching,
Ooh, question of the day.
who is gonna be at Crew Day at our house in 2 weeks?
Oh, Saturday, May 6th. Who's coming to Crew Day? If you're out there, you come and say so. Teresa Whitehouse says, I finally made it.
Yay! Welcome, Teresa.
Good job, Teresa.
Good morning, Carol Wood.
You know what? Cynthia Goldman, Lisa Arsenault, they were having B&C withdrawal.
So were we, though.
So were we.
We
know
were like,
what?
this is weird.
Can I tell you something, guys? We don't look at ourselves as the star of the show. You know what I'm saying? Like we are just part of the family. We missed you guys probably more than you missed us. True story.
I agree with that. Good morning, Mona.
Oh, look at Brian Sakowitz. I haven't said that line yet because it's not time, but sure, I can do it.
Yeah.
If you know we're gonna earn it.
And then I'm gonna demand it.
If you know we're gonna earn it today, with how to stay up when life gets you down.
Oh, I have a song.
The 3 essential laws of how to stay positive and productive and efficient and happy, even when life throws all kinds of curveballs at you. If you know we're going to earn that today, share it, please.
I demand you to share it out right now.
Oh, why is Caitlin Graham sad?
And you know the song, what's the song there? Is it by Big C? When I'm up, I can't get down, can't get down.
I don't know
can't
because
get
I don't know
down.
shitty music.
You know Great Big C.
Great Big C, yeah,
Yeah.
they're awesome. I used to work.
There is a song that they sing that you always like, that's a great song.
Mary Mac, can I tell you about Great Big C for a second? For all of you, you know what? Caitlin Graham, who's in Nova Scotia, should know exactly who Great Big C is.
Of course.
For those of us who are not in Canada right now, Great Big C is one of those like classic Canadian bands that really is only known in Canada.
Right.
And
oh,
they
that's
had
true. I
their
never thought of that.
massive rise in the 90s. But Great Big C and a violinist named Ashley McIsaac.
Oh, he was so great.
They
wasn't
used to
he?
play together quite frequently, and I had the opportunity of being bodyguards for Great Big C and Ashley McIsaac when they were live here. Well, not here. I live in Mountain Toronto, Quebec, but I lived in Toronto. And it was one of the best shows I ever was like, I know that when you're a bodyguard, I had a job to do, but it was a good show. I couldn't help but watch. Like, I don't mind saying it. When I was bodyguarding Jay Sean, I could give a fuck because he sucks. Look at, I'm sure he's great, but he sucks to me.
Well, he's allowed to suck to you. Were you allowed to?
But Great Big C is awesome. Mary Mac.
I don't know the name of that song. Like, I don't know how
Mary Mac's mother's making Mary Mac marry me. My mother's making me marry Mary Mac. Great fucking song.
You know my favorite thing about Caitlin, I got your message, by the way, with regards to Crew Day. I have not been able to get back to you because of my whole phone fiasco, which we're also talking about
today. We're talking about that today. Which, by the way, about 5 minutes left in this pre-show. This is the 3 essential laws of how to stay up when life gets you down. Because life throws curveballs at all of us. How do you remain up, positive, happy, productive, efficient? How do you basically ebb and flow and not worry about shit? Right. The 3 essential laws to make sure that happens. That is today's show.
I just remembered another one to add to our weekend.
Shit.
That you're going to be like, how did we forget that one? How did we forget that one? So, Crew Day in 2 weeks at our house.
Lisa Arsenault's coming.
It's going to be a blast. We'll be in contact with you over the next week or so.
Steve Montefinesse is coming. Tammy Montefinesse is coming.
You know who I remembered is coming last
Tiffany
night?
Maxim.
Lynette
Macias is coming.
Yeah. Yay.
I have hugs for her. Also, Tiffany Maxim was on our crew call last night.
Yeah.
Our private 4-week coaching group. She's funny.
Tiffany Maxim's a riot. Are you kidding?
She had no audio. I couldn't
hear
her, but her facial expressions and shit were funny.
She's
a funny girl.
Welcome, Ann Shivas.
Dr. Ann Shivas is here. I told her last night I can't call her Ann Shivas. She's Dr. Ann Shivas.
Dr. Ann Shivas.
Yes, absolutely.
Bon matin, tout le monde.
Yes. Well, Chris Mahone Johnson says, good, I need this after last week. I can't wait to hear about that.
Oh, because I think I actually know it. I won't say it out loud because, you know, that's probably private information.
Private stuff, absolutely. I'm excited. We have 4 minutes left. Somebody tell us what time it is.
You know what? I actually want to chime in on something that Christine just said. And we're going to talk about this in part of what we talk about this weekend. But Christine, thank you for those sentiments. For those of you who don't know, because some of you I saw the comments, our managing director, Trisha, who is our right arm, our left arm, and everything in between, she called us early Saturday morning at about 7:30 to tell us that she lost her daughter, her oldest daughter, 23 years old, passed away during childbirth. So for those of you who wanted to send energy and love,
absolutely,
would greatly appreciate that.
And, you know, I just want to say a word about Trisha as well. I mean, you know, look, Brian and Carrie are 2 people, but we run a business. We run a company. And we have people who work for us. And they have worked for us for some time, some of these people. Mm-hmm. We hire consultants in and out, but we have a standard crew of people who have worked for us for many years. Trisha Gardner has been working with us. I can't even bring myself to say that Trisha Gardner works for us, because she doesn't. She has been working with us for almost 7 years now. Mm-hmm. She is with us for life as far as we're concerned, and happily as far as she's concerned. Yeah. You know, what we do is not challenging in large part because of Trisha.
Truth.
She is amazing. She is capable. She's intelligent. She's ambitious. Half of what we do would not be possible. I think half is not generous enough. 3/4 of what we do would not be possible without this woman. Mm-hmm. So it was a family member who, for us, we felt as though it was a family member who experienced a tragedy, and we certainly send our love and prayers to her. Absolutely. Yeah. What a beautiful woman.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to kind of talk a little bit more about that later on as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
with that, Cynthia.
Yeah.
I think Cynthia was the one who was like, it's 10 a.m. It's time to start. It is time.
It's Monday Ugly Cup.
I love it when Brian's drinking an Ugly Cup and I'm drinking bubbling water out of a can.
Nice stuff. That's good.
You know,
I accept. Well, shall I kick us off?
Let's just kick it.
Here we go. Welcome to Brian and Carrie in the morning. We're live from the absolutely stunning Mount Tremblant, Quebec, where we are live 5 mornings a week, Monday through Friday. 10 a.m. Eastern is when we kick off. 9:50 is when the pre-show starts, and that's when you should come, because that's when all the fun happens. Now, having said that, Brian and Carrie in the morning, if you are new to us, we help you eliminate the limits in your life so you can finally achieve the goals you set. And today's show is a perfect example of that. How to stay up when life gets you down. We all get curveballs and crap thrown at us from time to time, and often it comes in bunches, correct? How do you stay happy, positive, productive, and efficient even in the middle of those challenging circumstances. We have 3 laws. They are 3 essential laws that we live by, and those are the laws we are going to share with you today. So if you know we're going to earn it, and we always do, give us a share right now. Put this into your news feed. Tell the whole world that Brian and Carrie are helping them eliminate their limits.
Share it out.
Woo!
I demand that you share it out.
Whoa!
In my most fierce Tinkerbell way.
Yes,
okay.
Well, we have to frame. We have to frame this show. We have to frame the 3 essential laws by telling you about our weekend. Okay? That list. And look, we're not saying like pity us. We're not in this for the pity. We're just we're framing what happened.
Absolutely.
So you know and you understand, and then we can give you the 3 essential laws, and that'll be that.
There you go. So I'm gonna kick us off, and everybody pay attention.
Yes.
Okay, because this is detailed, and you can obviously interject whenever you want.
I have to interject right now.
Oh, geez, I didn't even start talking yet.
Lee Patterson made me remember something.
Oh,
I forgot. Well, my
crew.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Lee.
Hashtag Crew Nation.
Yes, Michael Hedke loves your hair. Go on.
Thank you. Okay, so here's where it started. And I think some of you guys know a little bits and pieces of this already. So we are leaving Thursday to go to Toronto to visit Brian's family, right? And we are in the middle of getting ready, and I woke up and started doing my normal thing. And you know how like when you turn off an iPhone, when you turn it back on, you have to re-enter the numeric code, right?
I wouldn't know.
So I've had the same code for the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
But my brain short-circuited on Thursday.
Yeah.
Like I still don't know what happened, but it short-circuited.
Fact.
And I essentially started entering it. I knew the 3 number like the 3 numbers that I needed to use, just not the order. So I locked myself out of my cell phone.
Yeah.
Which might not seem like such a big deal. But that's where we run Brian and Carrie from. Brian and Carrie in the morning is off of my iPhone.
That's right.
So that's number 1. Boom, cell phone gone, can't access it. But add to that the fact that also meant that all of my my phone numbers, my contacts, I had access to nothing.
Gone.
Nothing. And
there they were, gone.
There they were gone. And why is that important, you ask? That is important for 2 reasons. Number 1, our housekeeper was coming on Friday, and she's new.
Day after we left.
Right. So, and it's just like 2 weeks that they've been with us, right? So I have to somehow get her a message to let her know where the key is and in the lockbox so that she can get in to clean the house.
How to actually access the key.
So I know phone number for her. That's number 1. Number 2, if you remember our car fiasco from last week, our car was in the garage, and we had to communicate with our mechanic to make sure that we were going to have our car when we got back, right? So I have no ability to message anybody, right?
Sandy, we couldn't log on to the cloud. The cloud hadn't been set up yet.
Yeah.
Trust us, we went to all the experts and tried all the stuff.
No, my iCloud.
There was no access to this phone.
Just so you know, my iCloud and my iTunes, I wasn't a part of that, so I had to go and get it wiped down.
Yep.
Anyways, so that's where it all started, right? And then so we were just like, whatever, we'll take care of it. We get to the airport, no big deal. We get to the airport, and there we are. I'm using the kids' phone now to access my Instagram and my Facebook to message someone who could get me the phone number for our housekeeper, and then to Instagram my mechanic because he's a contact on Instagram.
Yep.
And we find out that our car, the issue with our car is the fuel pump.
Yes.
Which is something that merits a discussion of do we need a new car?
Right. Well, and Kristen Mahone Johnson, our car was in the shop, not planned either. Our car stopped. It just stopped. It stalled.
Stopped.
So we had to get it to Montreal, to our mechanic, before we left for Toronto. But it was not a planned issue.
Right.
By any stretch whatsoever.
No.
Yes.
Right? And obviously the most important part there is that like we were coming home Sunday and we needed the car.
Sure.
When we got home Sunday. So there we are in the airport and we make the decision to buy a new car. So we're going through that process, but that also means that we have to have our mechanic, who's also our car dealer, he's shopping for a car, so we had to get a rental car for Sunday when we got home.
Yep.
That was all before we even left Montreal.
Yeah.
Right?
Still in the airport.
Day 1, Thursday. And then we get to Toronto, all's good, we're trying to we're figuring out all the details along the way. Friday morning we wake up and we're ready to do Brian and Carrie in the morning. Clearly we can't do it because my iPhone, we couldn't get somewhere before 10 o'clock.
Yes.
But Brian's phone died.
And,
Carrie forgot the charger for Brian's phone.
Carrie, nothing. Brian forgot the charger.
I packed.
That's awfully nice of you to keep the
I'm the one who
bullet.
packs.
But I'm the idiot who forgot the fucking charger. Right? My phone, my charger, my problem. I think we can all agree with that.
So,
my phone's dead. Her phone's broke. broke ass broke.
No access.
Now we have nothing.
So
absolutely nothing.
Before we keep going on, what do you guys like? Can you guys relate to days like this?
Right.
Curveballs that kind of just get like, it seems like they're all coming
And
at
that,
you.
like,
And you're...
That's not bad stuff. That's not like life, oh my God stuff. But like, you know, we have no access to a phone. We housekeepers, cars. Oh shit, we need a new car. I wasn't thinking about that with a new car. Oh, I forgot my charger. Nobody has a phone now. These things all tend to bunch up, don't they?
Right.
Can you guys relate to that?
Yeah.
How can you not? See, Elisa, yup. Absolutely.
Right? Everybody can relate to it, right? So, okay, we can't do Brian and Carrie in the morning. Crew was awesome. Props to you guys for being so cool with that. We finally get my iPhone fixed. Things are starting to roll. And then we remember, oh yeah, by the way, we have a home inspection this weekend because the house that we're in sold.
Yeah.
And that there's inspectors coming. And so we don't even necessarily know if we could come home on Sunday and find out we have to move.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two.
So now we might need a new car. Oh, and we might have to find a new place to live.
Right.
Right? All that stuff. So I want to point out, Adele, I'm not sure what the issue is. This is Brian and Carrie in the morning. It's how we always do it. I'm really sorry if you're not a fan of it, but honestly, no worries. Change the channel. It's all good. I got no issue with that. But every episode is the exact same. 9:50 to 10 o'clock is our pre-show, and then 10 to 10:40 we tell stories. We give you the lesson.
Right.
It never varies.
There
Hope
you go.
you enjoy it.
There you go. And and then also on Friday we get an email from Chase's school informing us that
I forgot about that one.
May 23rd through May 19th through whatever. He's in exams and prepping for exams. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what's the big deal? But the big deal is the kids were supposed to be coming with us to an event.
Yeah.
That was going to be May 18th through to the 23rd.
In Arizona, exactly.
So now we got to figure that one out too, right? So that's all kind of rolling. You know, we were rolling with the punches of all of it. And then Saturday morning rolls around. We wake up. We get a phone call from Trisha letting us know about her daughter. So that was number one.
Yeah.
And then the final kind of like, icing on the cake. We go to the gym. And we're, squatting. I do my first set of squats. I go down, and as I'm in the hole,
rib
pop. I feel my rib pop out of place. I feel the pain. Brian helps me push it back up again, and I realize very immediately how much this hurt.
Oh yeah, like I had to untie her shoes. I had to take off her weight belt.
I couldn't move for a good 24 hours.
Immobile. Yes.
Yeah. So that was our weekend. And I'm sure there's little nuances of things in there that I can't recall right now.
God,
but that was all over a 48-hour period.
Like, let's paint that, because that was just like a lot of like verbose, right? So let's paint it back for a second. Like, not only do we have a job, but we love our job, and we feel obligated to you guys to maintain that job. Not only that, we promised last week that an elusive Brian and Carrie in the morning would be held with my dad.
Right.
While in Toronto. Not only were you looking forward to that, because we received a lot of private messages about it.
Yep.
I was ecstatic about that.
Yeah. I couldn't wait for it.
I couldn't wait. But there we are, no phone, no ability to do anything about that.
Right.
So now we're feeling, God, like, we were looking for it. It is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. But don't forget, no access to phones. No ability to do Brian and Carrie in the morning. Do we need a new car? Do we need a new house? These are all, those are not small things when you're out of town. Do we need a new house? Do we need a new car? Then, a family member, someone who we've loved and cherished for 7 years, has about the most catastrophic tragedy you could possibly imagine happen to them. Yeah. Now, granted, that didn't happen to us, and I'm not pretending it did. But the impact emotionally on that is beyond words. 1 hour later, my wife is now immobile. While we're in Toronto, away from our medical personnel, from the comfort of home, we're in a hotel, etc., etc. That is compounding shit.
Yeah.
That is some seriously compounding shit.
One of the things, first of all, Kristen's so funny. She's like, okay, you guys win.
Oh, you're the best.
It's not a game. We're not trying for competition.
I love her sense of humor. I love her sense of humor.
I want to say one thing is, like, one of the things that we enjoyed doing was reflecting on how this would have been different for us 4 years ago.
Yes.
Right?
Because
what we're going to share with you, it's great. We're going to share with you the quote unquote the recipe to make sure those kinds of curveballs coming at you don't take you down. Right? Right? But
Exactly.
the reason we found those curveballs is because 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they did take us down.
They did.
They paralyzed us.
For weeks.
Yeah.
Right, weeks. And we're going to talk all about that in the solution today. Just a quick answer to Lisa. Great question. When you pop a rib out, does it go back in on its own, or do you have to have it manipulated? That's part of the challenge. You don't know. No one can tell you. Sometimes ribs slide back in. Sometimes they don't. And when they don't, you stay immobile and affected in the most kind of pain you could possibly imagine. I've had broken ribs. I've had ribs pop out, so I could at least empathize. I knew where Carrie was on a pain, gradient.
Breathing hurt.
Right. So if it doesn't pop in, you are in that state unconditionally until it does either slide back in on its own or somebody puts it there.
Yeah.
So and we even talked to our medical, Dr. Wexel, who we profiled in the live stream last week.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he said, there's nothing I can tell you. Right? So anyways, that was our weekend. Do you guys want to hear the 3 essential laws to weather the storm? How do you stay up and positive? How do you not ebb so far down when life kind of drives you that way? We've all experienced stuff like that, and some of it is way worse, some of it's not as bad, and some of it is just about like that. I mean, we can all relate to some level. Do you guys want to hear how we maintain ourselves, even on an efficient, productive level, not just staying positive and staying happy? Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Good morning to Judy Mitchell.
I know, I was going to say it. Hi, Judy!
Oh my God, Judy Mitchell's here! I love Judy Mitchell.
Just a really quick question, answer to Anne. I've been taking care of my ribs since Saturday, so
yes.
This is the first day. You could see me moving around. I couldn't even do this.
No, I had to help her off the bed, off the floor over the weekend. It was tragic and hard for me to watch, but she's tough as nails. So anyways.
Let's get to it.
3 essential laws.
Who wants to hear?
Michelle Adams says, bring it. Teresa Whitehouse says, yep.
Kristen, you're funny. Kristen just said, is it wine? Because I had a few glasses of wine after my week.
So, hey, look at it. Wine is fine by us, just for the record. Okay, let me say this. You ready? Essential laws, 3 of them. Number 1, okay, ritual. Ritual is number 1.
Yeah.
That is the big one you have to understand. And there it is. No joke. We designed these 4 exercises, okay? Learn your language, imagine your outcome, count your wins, and review your direction, not because they sounded good to us, and not because we thought they were cool, and not because we hoped they worked, because we looked at brain neuroscience, brain mechanics, the unconscious mind. We looked at all of it over a large number of years, and we kind of came to these 4 exercises. These 4 exercises are the saving grace. They change everything. And when you ritualistically do them, okay, when you ritualistically do them, they absolutely change everything about your life. Yeah. Okay, and we're going to talk more about how they change your life in a practical way through these 3 essential laws.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's what I want to say. This goes with us wherever we go. It is not a ritual we do when it's convenient. It's a ritual we do all the time.
Yeah.
It is a day in, day out process, and we have learned, it's not unlike nutrition or training and a million other things I could possibly think of right now if I was just given a second to do it. But it's not like gaining weight's a bad thing. We're not saying it is. But if you have goals related to weight loss and you go away for a weekend and just kind of hit the shit with your food and eat whatever you want, you're going to gain weight.
Right.
So if you don't want to gain weight, you can't eat that food.
Right.
Right? If you don't care, well, then eat the food.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to gain weight, then don't eat that food. That is what this is for. This is if you don't want to succumb to negativity. If you don't want to have to ebb and flow with the changing tides of life, then have a ritual that sets your mind every single day. That is essential law number 1.
I love it. I mean, I'm gonna add something about what our experience was with that this weekend. But Cecily, Casey, and Tiffany both chimed in on this.
I love that.
Like their journaling has just absolutely changed their world. Like Cecily said that she doesn't do hers over the weekend, and she feels down from it, and she has to get back on track on Monday. You know?
Can I add to that, Cecily? I'm not dissimilar. I don't think I feel down would describe me well, but I feel different.
Right.
I do. And I built this shit. Like, I'm familiar right? And my mindset's pretty good.
Right.
But we don't do journaling much on the weekends most often, unless we're traveling.
Yep.
By Sunday night, I'm like, I can't wait.
Yeah, you know, and
I can't wait to get back to it.
I think I just want to add to that because I think that everybody's kind of learning how to integrate this process for themselves, right?
Yes.
And a lot the people who are at least running through the program right now.
Right.
And I think it's important to understand, like, start to like recognize, like, you know, okay, so I didn't try it on the weekends and it wasn't feeling great.
Sure.
So what do? Integrate it on the weekends,
Yeah.
you know? For us this weekend, I mean, it was monumental.
It was.
Because,
It
like,
changed everything.
you know, and we talk about this all the time, that just because we've been practiced at this for years and years and years, it doesn't mean that we don't experience negativity and emotion and thoughts that come into us, right? Because we're all human, and that's what the brain does. So
Absolutely.
we, you know, 2 mornings in a row, we woke up and we both recognized we had some language nipping at us, right?
Yeah.
We sat down and we did our morning time,
Right.
And you literally, it's like afterwards you're like, wow, like, what was I even, like, feeling negative about?
Right.
I can't even remember.
Let's itemize all 4.
Absolutely.
Right? So first of all, shout out to Tiffany Maxim, who's in our coaching group and just got her journal, and she said that the layout of the journal is exquisite, right? It solidifies morning time. Because the whole concept, journal. Who hasn't taught you, told you, whose Facebook poster haven't you read that says you need to journal?
Right.
Right? What we created with this journal is not a Dear Diary portfolio, nor is it a these are my goals, just list them portfolio. This is laid out to learn your language, review your direction, imagine your outcome, and count your wins very purposefully in that way.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we built it that way. So let's review all 4 exercises as it related to this weekend, okay?
Right.
We started with learn your language. And what we realized, and Carrie was right, what you said a couple seconds ago, we were like, fuck, we were so full of negativity we woke up. Like, oh my God, like, you know, Carrie's ribs are out, and now she's not gonna be able to train properly, and I lose my training partner, and that's gonna make my training life change.
The crew might abandon us because of no Brian and Carrie in the morning.
Right.
3 days without us. What happens?
Yeah,
if, you know.
That right. What are people gonna be upset with us? They're gonna be disappointed. Are they gonna come back and watch again? What else were we thinking? New home. God, we got to go home now, and we may have to move. And although it's easy for us to move, it's, you know, no big deal. It's still a pain in the ass and a life thing. You know, you have to kind of work yourself around.
One of the ones for me, because
you guys are the best. Everyone's like, we never abandon you. Oh my God, I love the crew.
One of the things for me that was so negative in my thoughts at the beginning of the weekend was the whole reality that we had this trip to Arizona, and now we had to make different logistical arrangements because I'm very logistically minded.
Right.
Right. So now my brain was like it was seeing the problem instead of finding the solution when I woke up in the morning.
Right. New house, new car. Our son can't come with us to Arizona. These are all problems that you have to solve. But if you're in a negative space, you can't solve them because the problems are too large.
Right.
So that's learning your language. We recognized how much we were looking at the problem as opposed to trying to find the solution.
Yeah.
Learning your language changes that. I know Adele commented earlier, anybody who wants to get their hands on this journal, we will give out a URL at the end of the show for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I was
going to do number 2. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the learn your language thing at the beginning because, you know, we've talked a lot about awareness and accountability, and I'm not going to go into detail on that, but, like, I want to say that part of, like, this process is that you have got to be able to say, you know what, I've got this negative language going on in my head and I don't want it there.
Yeah.
Now I need to take charge of that and create change, because it would have been really easy, and this is what would have happened in the past for us. It would have been really easy just to, like, pshaw doing the journaling and stay mired in the negativity.
We'll get to that number 2 for sure, right? Let me say one more thing about learn your language. I taught this last night on our 4-week exclusive coaching group, okay? The whole concept of flipping your language. So I'm not going to get into it in a long-winded way. I'll simply say this. When we say flip your language, we don't necessarily mean see where you are and say the exact opposite, or try to think the exact opposite. Sometimes that works, but other times your ego starts to argue with you. So if we're like, well, Carrie's rib is out, she can't train for weeks and weeks and weeks, and that's going to affect my training as well. Woe is us, right? Flip the language. Well, Carrie's going to be better by tomorrow. We'll be back at the gym by Monday. But my ego is a petulant child. So had I have said that, my ego would be like, well, how do you know? She's probably going to be off for at least a couple weeks. Like, I don't like to argue with my ego. So flip your language, which you can only do when you learn it. right? Often just for me, the most powerful thing is simply remembering all of the ancient spiritual laws and what they've taught us. What you think is what happens. What you think is what becomes. So if that's the thought I'm going to carry, well, that's what we're going to get.
Yeah.
So we don't want that. Let's think something different.
Exactly.
And that is learning and flipping your language.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yeah.
Kristen says you're a petulant child. Voice is awesome.
I don't really know what's going on there.
He's got that voice for multiple characters.
I do, but it's my petulant pain in the ass voice. It's my constant petulant pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So that's learn your language.
Number 1 was learn your language.
Count your wins, right? So look there's a lesson in everything. Find it.
Yeah.
Simple, right? We didn't do Brian and Carrie in the morning, so as opposed to bemoaning it, and you guys have been great today. Well, we never leave, we never abandon you. And that means a lot to us, it really does. But we had to count the win on the fact that, you know what? At least we're responsible enough to the crew. We're responsible enough to the people who pay attention to what we have to say, and we let you know.
Of course, yeah.
Right? We let you know. We just didn't let it go. We borrowed Maya's phone.
Yeah.
And we logged onto Facebook and we let you know.
Yeah.
And that's a win. We didn't just let it be, oh, whatever, who cares?
Right.
No, we were responsible enough to do the right thing. That was a major win for us. We didn't overstress the fact that we couldn't do Brian and Carrie in the morning in a really opportune way with my dad in Toronto.
Right.
We didn't overstress it. That was a win.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with regards to wins, I'm going to give one with regard insofar as my rib, right? Because like I mean, when and we're in, like you guys all know, we're in a growth phase of strength. Like we're testing maxes in 5 weeks from now.
Right.
Right. So this may or may not be throwing like a little bit of a pebble into my path, right? But my win count was so easy. Like, number 1, I wasn't stubborn. I didn't push through my workout trying to muscle it out, which is a big one for me. Number 2, I immediately contacted my chiropractor here in Montreal to ask him for protocols. And number 3, I reached out to my coach right away. I sent Jason a message. I said, look, this is what's going on. And just want you to know for planning and preparation this week. And then finally, number 4 was I did what I was fucking told to do. And
those are all wins, right? They're all wins, but bigger than that, I want to add that if you stay mired in the shit, you don't get that proactive.
Yeah, right?
Right? We counted wins, and Carrie was like, okay, I'm going to message our coach, message our chiropractor, et cetera, et cetera. That's what it means to, even when life gets you down, how do you stay up?
Yeah.
How do you stay productive and efficient? We have a lot of doctors on the show today.
Mark Testa.
Dr. Mark Testa is here. Dr. Ryan Wolford is here. And they are joining Dr. Ann Chivas.
Right. And a shout out to Ross Aubrey, who's with us.
I love Ross Aubrey.
Big love to you.
What a nice guy.
I love it.
Now, here's a big one, okay, in terms of the whole, remember, this is the 3 essential steps. And number 1 is ritual. But we're enumerating all 4 exercises in the Brian and Carrie journal.
Right, inside the ritual.
So, count your wins, learn your language. Here's the big one for me when life gets me down. Review my direction. And here's why. It's so simple. Are you ready? This too shall pass.
Yeah.
When you review your direction and you remember that everything is about a 2 to 3 year plan. Everything is about the longevity of life.
Right.
It is so much simpler to not get caught up in the day-to-day shit. Because shit happens.
Yeah.
No joke. By the way,
it's going to happen whether you want it to or not. Right?
Absolutely. Hello, Emma, by the way, who's watching and listening from Dublin. Nice to have you. Welcome to Brian and Carrie in the morning. But to review your direction is the kicker. For me, it is, at least. It reminds me that whatever's happening right now, just like the same shit that happened 2 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 6 months ago, that I was mired in, it reminds me that I'm not mired in that shit anymore. So I'm not going to be mired in this shit not too long from now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reviewing your direction is about bringing to top of the mind where you're going. And if you do that, well, you pull yourself out of the momentary murk. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Tiffany Maxim, you're the best.
I know. She said, I try not to giggle when people
You're the best. Don't forget Dr. Brian Grasso.
You know, I
love you.
I also want to add with the direction review for me is I think like it takes this moment in time that you feel stuck in.
Yeah.
Because you feel trapped. Like when curveballs are flying at you, you feel so stuck in that moment. And you feel like it isn't going to pass, right?
Right.
And it reminds you that it's just this moment, this glimmer in time that in 6 months from now, you're not even going to remember because you're going to have moved past it.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to evolve away from it. This is just a moment. We don't want to freeze time right there.
So true. And we're going to get more about
Into
freezing time. I just want to add to the whole review your direction reality. I mean, we could do an entire show on this. We will one day. Obviously, goals are a contentious, challenging issue for some people. But look at we stand by the notion, which is why review your direction is a massive part of our 4-part process, right? Everything in your life should have a plan.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we are very much live present kind of people. No question. But I think the mistake people make is that they assume, or they mistakenly assume, that the whole concept of living in the moment means you shouldn't have a plan for where you're going. And that's not true. Whether it's our physical life, like our training, our family, where we intend to live in the world, our business, even our investments, everything has a plan. And that plan allows us to see the horizon, no matter how murky the clouds.
Yeah.
And when you can see the horizon, no matter how murky the clouds, you can walk through the clouds. But in order to do that, you have to have a direction.
Yeah.
You have to know the direction you're traveling. You don't have to have a goal that says you obtain this by this date. Although you can work to that, but you at least have to have a direction. Yeah. And that is a huge factor.
You know, and I don't want to talk about it now because we have a lot more to go into, but I would love to come back to that this week and do a show because direction review saved my life this weekend insofar as my rib. I have a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to do. We're going to do it this week. We're going to talk about it this week and go into more detail.
I'd love to hear that. I just want to say kudos to Aaron Johnson. It took me 3 to 5 minutes to pull myself out of the funk this morning.
Amazing.
Good girl, and what a progression, right? It's not a magic pill in that it works immediately. But if you are ritualistic and you do these 4 exercises at least 80% of the week, you will start to see changes within a month. Within a month. I would suggest 2 weeks, you're going to start to see perspective changes. And Aaron Johnson is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What does Dr. Wolford have to say?
I've told myself time and time again that this too shall pass. In the past, I said it but didn't really believe it. Now when I say it, I believe it.
Exactly.
It's
creating
amazing.
your own reality. Well, let me say the last one, the last of the 4 exercises, which is imagine your outcome, parlays exactly with review your direction. The second, we're doing morning time, which we do in the hotel room. We order coffee up to the room. We pour a cup of coffee and we sit and we do our journaling and then we talk about it like we do every single morning when we're here. And when we get to the whole review direction, now we're flowing. Like now everything feels great. Fuck everything. Who cares?
Right.
And imagining the outcome of where you're going is so simple.
Right.
And when you do that, you change the language of the unconscious mind. The language which was half an hour ago, oh my God, my rib, and I'm not going to be able to train, and oh, we need a new car, and money, and oh, shit. The language changes now because you've reviewed your direction, you know where you're going, now you're imagining that outcome, everything shifts in the unconscious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I just want to comment on Lee, she's just amazing. I'm amazed at how naturally it all comes to me now. 12 weeks at working at it, I'm now able to meditate. It's a new life.
Show is over.
Lovely Lee.
What else do we have to
love
say?
You.
So do I. That's awesome. Seriously awesome. But seriously awesome.
I don't even know what to say. It's so awesome. Aaron Johnson sent me an amazing message this weekend about some career advancements she's made.
Yeah.
Kevin Yates sent me a message this weekend.
Yes.
Like the crew is making waves.
Changing the world. Look at Sassy Pants, by the way. I was so scared to make changes. Now it's all bring it on. What's up, Sassy Pants?
Oh, Christine Bassista.
That's what Sassy Pants does.
Squeeze your face. And Mark
love
Testa.
You more, Dr. Testa.
I'm going to talk all about Mark Testa.
Dr. Testa is going to be one of the very first guests we have on Brian and Carrie in the Morning. Just so you know. Yeah. That's coming down the pipe.
I'm going to tell you guys how Mark Testa changed my life.
We're going to do a whole show on Dr. Mark Testa. We're going to do an entire episode on Dr. Mark Testa. He doesn't even know that.
There we go.
Doc Testa's still there. We're doing it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Andrea Torrens. My Imagination
Theater.
Theater I was doing back in January is all happening right now. Okay, who read that? The imagination stuff I was doing in January is all happening in reality right now. Yeah. Exactly. So let's paint the picture for a second. These 4 exercises, again, were not chosen by accident. They're not gobbledygook. It's brain science, it's neurology, it's unconscious mindset programming. Yep. Okay? So, what happens is when you learn your language, you can flip it and change it. When you count your wins, you change synapses, now you're seeing the world from a different perspective, which is more positive and affirmative. Right. You review your direction, so you mire out of where you are, you start thinking about where you're going, you imagine that outcome, the unconscious story changes completely. Now, that is not metaphysical. What you think, and this is the biggest mistake that so many people who are into The Secret and the Law of Attraction make, because it wasn't a complete explanation. Thoughts do become things, but how? You have to understand the mechanism, because all the cynical people are like, well, okay, well, I'm just going to think I want $1 million and then boom, I'm going to have it. Yeah. Okay. Like, let's graduate from grade 3 for a second and stop being stupid. Like, seriously, nobody is saying that's what happens.
Right.
And if anyone is saying that, we'll stop listening to them because they're idiots. Okay. What we're saying is very simple. When you think certain things, doesn't matter if they're good or bad, positive or negative, your emotions are triggered from that thought. So if you're thinking negative things, woe is me things, oh my God, we're going to have to do this things, your emotions follow that thought. Dread, anger, fear, they all start to overwhelm. Emotions catalyze actions. So when you're afraid, you're anxious, you're nervous, you're worried, you start to act according to that emotional profile. Yep. Right? You're playing small, you're playing safe, you don't want to make any mistakes, you're afraid to do anything wrong. Those actions become behaviors. Behaviors you keep every single day create your life. That's it, that's all. So it's not gobbledygook, it's not metaphysical. What you think catalyzes emotions, pushes actions, becomes behavior, that's life. So when we do these 4 exercises, we change the way we think. Not just momentarily, but ongoingly, perpetually, permanently. And when you start to think affirmative and positive and your perspective goes to the good stuff, you act differently. You feel differently. You behave differently. Different results.
Exactly.
That's all there is to it. It's 2 + 2 = 4. Yeah. So the fact that Andrea is saying that she was imagining stuff in January, it's coming true now, yeah. Because her actions were lining up to those thoughts. Yep. That's how it works. Yeah. So it wasn't Andrea's imagination that brought about the reality right now. It was the actions and behaviors she did as a result of that imagination.
Exactly.
Albert Einstein, your imagination is a forecast of life's coming events.
Right. You know, I just want to, let me just, Nikki asked if we could recap, and I'm actually going to recap it really quickly because a lot of people just came on. So, really quickly, for those of you who are just joining us, hi Darren Barrett on a boat in Turkey. Yes. Really quickly.
Beautiful.
You got to go back and watch the beginning of the show to get the whole thing, but Brian and I had a weekend where there was curveballs coming at us from left, right, center, all over the place.
Yes.
And this whole show today is our 3 things that we do to make sure there's your 3 steps, your 3 secrets, your 3 strategies that you do to make sure that those curveballs don't knock you out. So the first one was a routine of your daily journaling practices.
You got to do your daily journaling. And we just gave all 4 exercises in this journal, why they all compound to be important.
Absolutely.
Compound.
We both just did a tongue thing.
Who wants to know what essential law number 2 is?
I am so excited about essential law number 2 because
I'm not going to tell you unless you say you're excited.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know?
Who wants
to know? Christine, ask us about Imagination Theater on our coaching call.
Yeah, Tuesday, coaching call. You got us privately.
Miss Sassy Pants is going to ask the first call. Question.
Oh, lots of hearts. I think people want to know essential law number 2.
There you go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Here's what it is. Connect to what grounds you. That is essential law number 2. Pure and simple. And I'm going to frame it this way. Are you ready? Tell me if this sounds familiar. No shit, I want to hear your words. I want you to chime in with actual words. Okay? Does this sound familiar? As soon as life starts to get bungee and bad, and it compounds, a whole lot of shit's going on, just like the weekend we just kind of profiled to you, that's exactly when you either run and hide, or you abandon all the stuff that you know is what's best for you.
Right.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, you might be a zombie.
Right.
Because that is human nature.
I mean, absolutely.
We push away what's best for us.
Right. You know,
as soon as the balance changes.
Absolutely. And we're going to detail different ones that we connect to.
Yes.
But,
look at everybody. Oh my God. Yep.
The number one thing, and I want to know, those of you who are out there can relate to this one. The number one thing that you stop doing on a daily basis when you need it most is your journaling.
Yes.
You don't do your morning time. You don't do your mindset time. You drop it because you're feeling kind of shitty and you feel like it's more work than it's going to be, right?
Exactly.
But we're getting
a bunch of wows. Yeah. Like we really just hit you guys. Yeah. Because that is so relatable, right? As soon as life gets shitty, you kind of get away from the stuff you know you should be doing.
Absolutely, you know. So for us, there's multiple things, and I'm going to let you talk about the one with regards to the training.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going to talk to you guys about my hair. So for those of you who commented on it, you might notice that last week I had unicorn hair, and today I have what I refer to as peacock hair.
Right. You look hot as fuck either way. Just for the record.
Thank you. Why is that? And so many people might see that as a superficial change. But it's actually a very connected, grounded change.
Yes.
So, you know,
absolutely.
Sometimes things happen. My hair didn't take. The product that we put in my hair didn't stay, and it had washed out by like Tuesday or Thursday.
Yep.
And I was feeling not myself. I am very, when I feel artistic, okay, that's really, it's the artistic nature. When I feel artistic, I am connected to myself. That grounds me, right? So when it started to like, I realized my hair, I wasn't feeling like, I was feeling kind of like, all weekend, right? I said to Brian, I was like, you know what? I need to do something about this.
To which I said, do it. Let's go.
I need to change it, right?
Yes.
So we walked to the pharmacy. I consulted my hairdresser, and we got something to change it. And literally within a matter of a half an hour, I went from feeling disconnected and not myself to stepping back into who I am again.
100%.
And I want massive.
Brian Sakowicz says something very important. Oh no, it wasn't Brian Sakowicz. It was Michelle Adams. I don't know how I got Brian Sakowicz to that. Sorry, Michelle. Michelle Adams says Brian rocks at your love language.
Because she knows my love language is words.
But you know what? It's true. But I want to take a moment with that one, not to inflate myself, because I could give examples to Carrie in the exact same way. If you're in a relationship right now, what I'm about to say matters big time to you. And if you're not in a relationship, that's okay, because it still matters to you personally, okay? You have to know your own love language, and you have to know your partner's love language. So I know, and I'm not an idiot, right? When Carrie started mulling around after she heard her rib about her hair, I recognized it immediately. Immediately after her rib was out, she was in pain. She got a little look in her eye, and I know that look well. And all of a sudden, she started talking about her hair. I knew immediately that I had to catalyze her. Let's change her hair. Let's do it right now. Right? Because I know my wife. It's not a superficial thing for her. It's not a I need to look pretty thing. It's a creative, explorative, discovery, fun, laissez-faire way to live. She loves to change her hair, change her makeup. And when she does that kind of stuff, she is on point. She is happier, she is more free, she is more creative. So, yes, you have to know your partner's love language. I could have been the husband. What the fuck? You want to go spend money on hair dye now? Like, Carrie, you can barely even move. Like, let's prioritize the important things and stop thinking about your fucking hair. That is the husband.
Right.
But I know better than that, because I know my wife, and I care about my wife, and I know that there are bigger and more important things related to her hair color than the way she looks. That has nothing to do with it. So that's an important part. When we talk about grounding and stay connected, you have to know you. Hair might be a superficial thing to you. It's not to Carrie.
Right.
And if you're in a relationship, you got to know that.
Right.
Right? Because I could have been the husband and been, a prick.
Right.
But I know you better.
Yeah, you're not a prick, and you know me. You're great.
Woo!
Awesome. Hi, Tanya Christina.
Right? Can I tell you mine?
Yeah.
My connection point, my grounding, training and nutrition. Want to know why? When life gets shitty, the first thing that happens is I want to eat food that doesn't serve me.
Right.
I don't know why. I really don't know why. I've thought about it. I can't really figure out the reason as to why that's what I want.
Right.
When life goes shitty, I want to eat everything that really is going to make me feel like shit. And it's a funny thing. It's a very funny thing, because it's almost like a drug for me. Right. The lure of the food, it's like I get like, oh man, it's gonna make me feel so much. It's gonna give me comfort. It's gonna like a security blanket. It's gonna make me feel so much better. Okay, and then I eat it, and while I'm eating it, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel so much better. Isn't life great? It's good. It's gonna have the food I don't want. Who cares? Like whatever. We're free. We're young. We're happy. And then I'm finished. Then I'm done my food. Right. And now, now what happens is not anger, not frustration, but can you relate to this one? Self-loathing. That is where it puts me. Right. I go into a spiral of hating on myself up here in ways you could not imagine, the things I say to myself. Now, it's been a long time since I've done a lot of that. I mean, it really has. Like, we're talking about five.
If they read my post last week, they got a teaser of it,
Yeah,
right?
it was been about five plus years, but I remember those days well, and that's why grounding or staying connected to me is eating my macros, eating good, healthy food. It doesn't have the lure, it doesn't have the romance, it doesn't have the adrenaline rush of wanting to eat at the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Right.
But I know that if I do that, I drop into self-loathing.
Right.
So that is my number one, that is my fortification. Stay on point with my macros, my food, good quality choices. When I do that, everything just feels better.
Yeah, you know,
and by the way, training.
Right.
Go to the gym. We went to the gym Saturday morning. Yeah, just so happened Carrie popped a rib out when we were there. But remember, Saturday morning was day 3 of a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
And I easily would have 5 years ago made how can we go to the gym today, Carrie? Everything's fucked up. Why would we go to the gym?
Absolutely.
I just need to rest more. I know myself better now. I got to get to the gym.
Yeah.
It grounds me into my plans.
Yeah.
My direction, where I'm going in life.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
No,
almost
please
cut you
go
off
ahead.
there, but I want to say the other element of that is when I hurt myself, you would have stopped.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Brian said to me, he's like, you know, he didn't just say, like, fuck you, I'm going to train, I can get my workout in. He said to me, he's like, do you mind if I continue my workout? Like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm good, you know?
She trooped it. She walked around the entire gym.
Walked around. I had gotten the protocols from my chiropractor, so I
Yep.
started stretching it out a little bit. We stayed in the gym. He finished his workout. It was great.
Yeah.
You know, it was absolutely great. And there was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember
Well,
right
you
now.
know,
So,
good timing, because Sandy Weinberg, my European girlfriend, says a great comment here that I want to make sure everyone understands. She wrote, going to the gym makes you feel better. So, no, it doesn't. It might make you feel better,
Makes me
Sandy.
feel better.
It makes Carrie feel better. It doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about energy in, energy out, right? So for me, the gym is a massive energy out. I'm a robust athlete. I've been an athlete my entire life. I love training. But the action of going to the gym is a very energy out process for me. I don't look forward to it. I don't get excited about it. Once I'm there, I love it. But I can get delusional about being there or getting there all the time.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm making that point clear is that we have to understand energy in versus energy out. I do not like fortune cookie advice. I do not like opening Cosmo where they say going to the gym makes you feel better. And it's like, but that's not true for a lot of people.
Right.
It's not true for me. But what it does do for me is it grounds me back into reality of life. And after I'm done, yeah, I'm happy I went. But when life is turning, on the best day of my life, I still am like, oh fuck, I go to the gym now.
it's so true.
Right? But when life is like really shitting on me, that is a hard decision for me to make to get up and go to the gym.
Yep.
So it actually makes me feel way worse at first because of the energy out.
Right.
So that is a really important splice to consider.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to add to the whole staying connected.
Angie Olsen, by the way, says the same for her. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did actually.
I didn't know
knew
the gym was an energy out for Angie. That's cool.
You know, I want to just add to the proactivity of staying connected as well, because this is something that we've kind of perfected, we've gotten better at over time. You know, we do travel quite a bit. This year, not as much as usual. But, you know, like, for us, the curveball was that we were traveling and all these curveballs got thrown at us. But for a lot of people, just traveling in and of itself destabilizes them.
Yes.
Right? And one of the things that we do is we are proactive at making sure that those connection points are in place prior to leaving. So little things like every single one of our supplements came with us.
Yep.
I take out 5 t-shirts. I'm bringing my supplements whether I like it or not. And I made a joke about this the other day that, like, you know, you're committed to your training program when your luggage consists more of your training gear than actual clothing, right?
And it did.
So we and we always know what gym we're going to before we leave, right?
Yep.
So we are proactively prepared prior to leaving on in any trip to essentially know that we are grounded and connected to that anchor for us.
It's a funny thing. We could so easily do a 5 travel tips show.
Who wants us to do that?
How to travel and, like, essentially take your life with you, as opposed to be unbalanced for any length of time. That I used to travel for business nonstop, like all over the world nonstop. I had to learn how to make sure that I maintained degrees of balance in all aspects. It's so much so that, like, if we're going to a city we haven't been to before, we actually use Google Maps to find a gym.
Yeah.
Then we call the gym. This is all before we leave. We call the gym to see their hours of operation. If they have guest passes, how much they cost. If we can pre-order them.
Yeah.
If they have a squat rack, if they have dumbbells that go up to 120 pounds, we know exactly how far is the walk from the hotel to the gym. We get all the details.
Yeah.
So that when we get there, we're good to go.
Yeah.
As an example of essentially taking your life with us.
Yeah, exactly. Love it.
Anyways, 3 essentials. Are you guys liking this so far?
I've heard some commentary about the show.
I need to know. Are you guys digging this so far?
Yeah. And Angela, it's sparkling water.
I see hearts. I don't see enough hearts. We're
We're
going to stop.
No, I'm going to say, if you're enjoying this, can you please chime in and say, yeah?
Show's over. You're not going to learn the third one.
We've got one more thing. And if you guys see me shifting around, by the way, it's not because I'm bored of you. I'm just a little bit uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
120-pound dumbbells. Holy shit.
Hey, man. I'm a big, strong guy, Brian Sakowitz. So I am what I am.
Most gyms don't have those.
Yeah, they do. They're catching up. Look at that. Now I got the crew in. I love it. Okay, recap. The 3 essentials. Essential number 1 is have your ritual.
Yep.
Right? The ritual for us is the Brian and Carrie Let's Eliminate Your Limits journal. We do our 4 exercises, review your direction, count your wins, imagine your outcome, and learn your language every morning, even while we're away. Yes, we take our own journal with us. Okay? Essential law number 2, know what grounds you and make sure you do it. Right? So for Carrie, it's the creative flow of new hair. For me, it's making sure I eat the foods that serve me. And for both of us, it's actually being active, going to the gym. Because I saw a lot of comments from Kristen Mahone-Johnson, Lee Patterson, talking about they don't like the gym, they like other things. I love that you guys know what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the key, right? We don't ever want to sit here and say, do like we do.
Of course.
We want to say, find you and do that. So bless you guys for knowing that.
Yeah.
But for us, nutrition, creativity, the gym, that is our grounding point. So we take it with us. Right. Okay? Law number 3, and we're going to expand on it because as a single law, it might sound a little bit too namby-pamby, but here it is. Don't take life so seriously. That is the 3rd and final law. But we should expand on that.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
We should expand on that. So, do you want to start? Or do you want me to
start?
Yeah,
let me start with this. I think that holding, we already touched on this a little bit with regards to thinking, to recognize that this is a moment, right? And this too shall pass.
Yeah.
It's really strong language that, again, so many people just use as the rhetoric without actually embracing what it means. And when we think about the whole this too shall pass, for me, it really is symbolic of the fact that this moment in time, it isn't frozen in time.
Right.
It isn't isolated. It's going to pass you by. It's, in 3 weeks from now, let alone probably 3 days from now, you're not going to remember the emotion or stay mired in it, right?
Yes.
So if you do the first 2 things, before you know that moment, that anxiety, that stress that this curveball threw at you, it comes and goes like a merry-go-round.
It really does. It really does. Merry-go-round's a great metaphor.
Right. That one was one that served me so well years ago. You know, years ago, Brian actually, it was a metaphor you gave me.
Yeah.
Where he's basically,
I don't teach it near enough anymore.
No, I just realized that.
Yeah.
He basically said, we were talking about the whole concept of this too shall pass. And he said, because he knows I'm such a visual person, he's like, imagine you're standing still looking at a merry-go-round.
Actually, no, you're in the middle.
Oh, in the middle of the merry-go-round, right? Everything moves around you. The horses just come and go, come and go, right? And that's the same with moments and curveballs in life.
It is. I'm gonna just expand on that,
yeah,
right? Because the merry-go-round, I think, needs to be completed for it to be completely understandable, right? So, I teach in story, which means I think about stories. I think about metaphors a lot, and it was several years ago. We were talking about the concept of this too shall pass, and Carrie was having a rough moment about something, and we were talking about this too shall pass. And I wanted to give her a visual, so I kind of constructed this. Life is like you standing in the middle of a merry-go-round, okay? Now, the horses are going to come around you nonstop, right? It's going to horse after horse after horse. It's just going to keep coming at you. That's true for all of us. No one is more lucky or advantaged necessarily in the fact that life can bring about myriads of things, okay? Now, if your job is to keep your gaze straight on the horizon, and that's where you maintain your gaze, well, a horse is going to come into your view, but if you keep your gaze on the horizon, as quickly as it came into view, it's going to go out of view. Just let it go. Let it pass. right? That is knowing what your grounding is, what your connection is, and do it. That is why these 4 exercises are so powerful. They keep your gaze rather neutral. They keep your gaze on the horizon. So as horses come into view, they go out of view. The contrary, which is the way most people live, is as these stress horses start to come within their gaze, they pick one and start to follow it. And all of a sudden they're turning round and round and round and round, watching this one horse. It's like you have built this tunnel connecting energetically you to this one stressful horse. And now it's turning you round and round and round and round. So you're not connected, you're not grounded, you're not doing the things you know will serve you because you're dizzy.
Right.
Does that not sound right and exactly familiar?
Yeah.
Right? So keep your gaze forward. The horses come in, they leave.
Right.
Just as quickly. So I want to explain it from another way. Quantum physics, because I'm a nerd. And I love that shit, but it really, 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 really speaks to spirituality as well. Okay? There is a law. It's a decree inside of quantum physics. It's called the Copenhagen interpretation. What it means is this, okay? Electrons at the microscopic level really are capable of anything. And we don't know exactly what an electron is capable of because an electron starts to behave differently when it's observed. Does that make sense? So, as a scientist looking through the microscope at electrons, it's like the energy of that observation. The electrons start to behave in concert with the energy of the person looking at them. So if Carrie looks through the microscope at electrons and I look through a microscope at electrons, the electrons behave differently based on her energy and mine. Okay, so electrons are capable of anything, but they freeze in a certain pattern based on who is looking at them and the expectation we individually carry about that electron. Okay, now that's interesting, and Michelle Lee says, "Wow, yeah,
say, wow, right?
It's a cool thing."
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really awesome. Do you know at the microscopic level? Take away my skin, my eyes, take away the beard, my clothes, take away everything you see about me. Do you know what I'm comprised of? What you're comprised of? About 20 trillion electrons. That's all we are. That is all we are. Okay? Don't freeze yourself by looking at yourself as life is right now.
Right.
That's the point. And that's what we do a bad job of. We see the horse and it comes through our gaze and we start to turn with it. That is akin to us looking through a microscope at ourselves and watching ourselves behave in a particular way based on the expectation we're carrying about that horse. Mm-hmm. And I find that shit fascinating. Like, stardust, bitches! Like, think about that for a second.
Brian Sakowicz just hashtagged electron, bitches.
Right!
It really is true. And somebody,
yes.
I think it was Lisa, I can't remember who commented on it, that, that whole water molecule test, water's responding to negative and positive stuff.
100%.
I mean, it's so powerful. And right. I think that if you can allow your mind to go to that level and really sink into it, like think about how much truly exists within you to not control yourself.
Yeah.
Well, to control yourself and release yourself to that. And that's what, release yourself to that is such unicorn talk, isn't it?
But it's true.
But the answer to releasing yourself to all of that really does start with the journal. Because that's how you release yourself to all of that. Right,
absolutely. And I love Lisa Arsenault, who's an unbelievable student, obviously. It's like our bias filter. Exactly. Yeah. The bias filter of the moment is how we are observing ourselves, i.e. our lives.
Yeah.
And therefore we are creating that small bubble.
Yeah.
And we're staying in it.
Yeah.
I have had so many friends, colleagues, and clients over the years do the exact same thing. When I teach the Copenhagen interpretation or I recommend books on quantum physics they read, the reaction is almost universal. And it goes in 2 phases. I just read this book, or I just learned about this whole Copenhagen interpretation. Okay? And the first reaction is, holy shit. Like, I am all powerful in my own universe. I can create the life I want. The second reaction is, oh, fuck.
Oh, it really is all on me. I can do anything.
I really can do what I want, and I'm not.
Right.
So we're going to suggest you don't fall into number 2, but embrace number 1. I hate to say it, but I love to say it. Your life is a mirror of the way you've thought to date.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. Your thoughts have created the life you have now. But don't be disempowered by that. Be empowered. Change your thoughts, change your world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And Carrie already said it. Yeah. That is how you change your thoughts.
Right.
Permanently.
I have a few things really quickly. Number 1, we might have been gone for 3 days, but we gave you like this like massive bonus episode.
Woo, this is like an hour and 10 minutes, right?
Number 2, I just want to give a shout out to Beth Greenaway, who is joining us from the UK. She says she's been watching us for years and she's kind of a lurker. She doesn't chime in very often.
Did she just chime in?
Chimed in with a beautiful comment about how she's going through some healing processes of her own.
Beautiful. And I think Lola is here for the first time.
Welcome to Lola. And now I wanted to come back around to something that I noticed, I observed happen as you were telling the story about the merry-go-round. And you know, we are so adamant about make it your own.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that like the one thing that we're always saying to you guys, aside from like journal? Make it your own, make it your own, make it your own, right? As you were talking about the merry-go-round, I observed as people changed it into what made sense to them. Somebody made a comment about a Ferris wheel. Somebody, Cecily made a comment that dancers do that, right? Like dancers,
Beautiful.
Like, that's the point, guys, right? Find what resonates with you and stick to it.
Always.
There you go.
So look, we have done a lot of showing this book.
Yeah, poor Adele's like, where do I get it?
Yeah, Adele's hung in there, man. Love it. So guys, look, it's a very simple process. AchieveTheGoalsYouSet.com.
Yeah.
Go there. It's an entire program. It's not just a journal. It comes journal, a daily reader, a slew of videos, etc., etc. So AchieveTheGoalsYouSet.com. That is where you need to go to get yourself a Brian and Carrie Let's Eliminate Your Limits journal. I love Lisa Arsenault being the share police. We have 40 viewers so far, 40 shares or more. We've actually tipped up over 50 today. Lisa, just so you know. And Louise got her journal on Friday. Yes.
Tiffany got her journal this weekend as well.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. It's amazing how much the journal frames everything.
It does.
It makes it so much more streamlined.
Well, it's your grounding point.
Yeah.
So connect to it daily. It is your ritual. So do it every day. It is how you stop taking life so seriously, because you can learn to get through the bubbles of it all.
Yeah.
The 3 essential steps that we profile today basically are in here. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point.
Absolutely.
Woo!
I also want to agree with you, Cecily. I'm glad you stuck around too, Adele.
Yeah.
You know? There you go.
Yeah.
Carrie needs to stand up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Not like I can stand up and
still be with my height.
Still be in the camera.
Awesome. Lee Patterson says, I am loving my daily reader. So hard not to read the next chapter. Don't!
Do not read the next
chapter a day, Lee. I love that you're doing that. The daily reader is great too, says Brian Baggerbrains. Beautiful. Adele's a good egg. Way to stick around. I agree with Krista Mahone Johnson. Guys, we are so happy to be back.
Yes, we are.
Thank you for
we missed you.
weathering a couple of days without Brian and Carrie in the morning, but we have no plans of interruption coming up anytime soon. So,
yeah, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Who wants to see us tomorrow? 10 a.m. Eastern, live.
I love you.
I love you.
I love his face.
Love you.
Just look, it makes me happy.
I'm looking at everybody while we kiss you. Guys, you're the best. See y'all tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mwah!